Hey, this is Bree and Ashley with Stevens Real Estate at EXP.
You are listening to Hudson Valley Homegrown, where we talk all things real estate, growth mindset,
Women in business, entrepreneurship,
all in the Hudson Valley.
and good vibes all the time.
Hope you enjoy the show. Hey, it's Ashley and Brianna with Stevens Real Estate, and we are here to talk about all things real estate in the Hudson Valley and to tell us a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah. And, obviously we're newer agents. We've been in the industry for about 2 years now, and we kind of have similar backgrounds in terms of sales and customer service. And I think ultimately us finding real estate has really allowed us to create the lives that we've kind of been looking for.
Yep.
At least for myself, for our whole life. And, working in sales and customer service, sometimes you're like capped out and you're like, what is next? So I think real estate's a good option. And if you're kind of looking to get into the industry, we are with EXP. We're worldwide. We have a great network of referral partners and brokerages around the globe. So I think part of joining our team with EXP has allowed us to expand on our careers in such a short time. I think a lot of agents take 10 plus years to get to the level of volume that we're doing. So I think it's super it's just been really awesome to start the process. And we'll tell you a little bit more about what made us get into it and our
we'll
background.
Explore
and
all the wonderful things about the Hudson Valley.
Yes.
We'll talk about growth mindset. So
stay tuned.
Just being women in business in 2023.
Love it. Almost 2024.
So crazy.
So
crazy.
Ashley, what made you get into real estate?
Well, let's see. I kind of grew up around construction and houses. My father had a construction company. I was in the hospitality management before that, so I loved working with the people. And I wanted something, I was sick of capping out, like working for corporations and doing sales. And I really wanted something that, one, I can control my own wealth. I can set my own schedule, which I thought, this would be great. I can make my own schedule and you work 24/7. So that was a big surprise, but I love it. It's a lifestyle, I think. It's not like a job. It's not a career. It's actually a lifestyle. I love what I do. I love matching people to the homes, and you're taking like an in-depth journey with your clients. So you're diving a little bit deeper. It's not just like transactional. You're actually become like part of the whole experience. That being said, growing up in the Hudson Valley, I love it. I know what it has to offer. So I think bringing new people in, it's fun to kind of be like a tour guide and assist that way as well. So as a new agent, it was definitely scary and a single mom.
What made you be like, okay, I'm going to leave whatever situation I was in prior and then just jump right into real estate? Like what was the moment or the light bulb that was like, hey, I need to do this?
That it was more of like a totally personal, nothing professional. It was all personal. I had been in such a bad spot in my life that I was like, I need a change. I need everything to change. And it was COVID. So we were locked inside.
Yeah.
I would say there was a awakening and, a deep dive and discover who I am and what I have to offer. And I think that real estate, was a great choice. And my stepbrother and my best
we
friend.
We can't forget about him.
So it made it easy. Yeah. So to work with your brother and your best friend, and then, it was a no-brainer.
I think real estate for us, and especially the team that we're a part of, I think it really makes you hone in on who you are as a person. And I think throughout a lot of people that have joined our team have really focused on more of a personal journey to growth and bettering themselves.
Yes. For sure.
So I think that is huge. And I think, doing real estate, a lot of people don't know what they're getting themselves into, honestly. Right. So I think for both of us, I think we've just really taken real estate and allowed it to really just fine tune who we are as individuals and who we knew we could be, but didn't really have the tools and the resources and the mindset to get there.
Right. It created a pathway for us to go on,
totally.
Which is great. And I think that can be applied to any career, but with real estate, especially in this market, it's so fast paced and we're really, purchasing the house. A lot of times this is the biggest purchase that the individual is going to make. Yeah. And absorbs like every aspect of their life. There's me talking with my hands.
She's
So,
Italian.
Italian. So are you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great. It's a good thing. It's
Yeah.
a good thing. Constantly changing, you're constantly growing, you're fostering the deal, and then it's over. And then you have to start the process all over again. So like to succeed in life and in real estate, it's really important to have goals and to have that growth mindset, because even if we stand still, like life keeps moving forward.
Yeah.
So if you do nothing, you're naturally just moving backwards. So I think it's important to constantly challenge yourself, and we'll dive a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
Some of the episodes.
And I saw someone that I, had past relationships with, but anyways, her and her daughter, and obviously she'll probably hear this podcast maybe, but they were butterflies for Halloween. And I like the caption was so cute. It was like, if change never happened, like there wouldn't be butterflies. Aww. And I just got the chills saying that, but it was just like for that situation, it was like perfect. And I'm like, wow, like that really is so true. Like in life, like
right.
Things are inevitably going to change. And, real estate, I think, allows us to mold and change and evolve while also having a steady job that we know will always be there, regardless of how crazy the market is, regardless of all the fear in the market
People
and
need
panic.
housing.
Like, regardless of that, like we are doing something that's helping people get to where they need to be. And I think that's the most impactful part about real estate. And I think we both feel that, and we take that into.
We work with our hearts. So
we do.
We definitely.
Yeah.
So Brianna, what made you get into real estate?
Okay. Well, I think I was just at a point in my life where I was like, what am I doing? And I never really was one of those people that like knew what they wanted to do. I still don't know. Like I love real estate, and I think this will just allow me to explore other avenues. But like I never knew what I wanted to do. I just always knew that I was really good with people. I loved having a variety in my schedule and flexibility to do whatever. I was never going to be on time for anything in life. So I couldn't have a job that I needed to be on time for.
Like a 9 to 5.
Right? Like, no, it's scary.
Confining you in an office, 9 to 5. I don't think we could do that.
I think it was just like, for me, it was like the natural progression of like where I was. And I think every job and experience that I've had has like led me to the next path. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just I believe that like real estate happened at the right time in my life. I actually signed up for my test probably like 4 years prior. And then I started a new job, and I was like, no, this job is sick. Like, I'm going to do this job forever. Like, I don't need to do real estate.
Right.
So I like never finished my course, like never took the test, anything. And then that job obviously was not a forever
thing. What you
thing.
expected.
No, I mean, it was great. It was sales. And then, I actually sold wine and liquor for a while, and I loved it.
So did I. I didn't know that. That's so crazy. I was a wine specialist for Eber Brothers.
Okay.
That's amazing.
I worked for a larger company, and it was great. I worked with a lot of guys, and it was just very like masculine, and like just everything was just like not right. And then I had, I ended up getting a DUI, which, whatever. Yeah. And I think alcohol and my life just didn't really collide at that point. And I just like couldn't promote something that like wasn't working for me. And I knew I needed to like cut that. So I think that was a huge part in me not wanting to do that anymore. And it was like just a lot of other things. So anyways, I was like, I'm going to get my real estate license, and I'm going to do this job until, maybe I make some sales and blah, blah, blah. And then our broker, Lindsay, was just like, burn the boat. So I burned the boat. But real estate for me.
Jump in. So burn the boat means jump in full time. So real estate, a lot of people have the mindset that they can just do it every once in a while. I'll sell a couple houses a year. Meanwhile, it's like the amount of energy and time you have to put into it.
It's not even that. I think more so it's like, and if you're listening to this and you're looking for an agent, it's like, if you're a part-time agent, like you're doing a disservice to your clients because you don't know the market, you don't have properties, you don't have knowledge, you don't have the connections that you need to really be successful in this industry. True. So with that, that's a whole nother thing. But so that's
what burn the boat means. You go all in.
Yeah. Burn the boat.
Yep.
And I don't know where I was going with that, but
sorry to interrupt.
I don't know. Burn the boat. I burned the boat. And
so you got your license, and you've been doing it for how many years now?
2 years in December.
And you are one of the top agents in our office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Awesome. It's fun. It's good. I'm a newer agent too. That's one thing with Stevens Real Estate is they have a great training program, onboarding program for anybody that is looking to get into the industry. I think that they foster you moving forward, and they are, they want everyone to be successful. I'm not even 2 years and had top agent 3 months in a row. So that says a lot. I know people that have been agents for 20 years and haven't done that. It's where Stevens Real Estate's where it's at.
Yeah. And we're always looking for more agents, and we're looking to expand our team. And I think me and you are both like have a very like leader mindset. And I think to be successful in real estate, leaders lead leaders. So you need to really have that mindset.
Yep.
And you can't just be okay with doing like a few transactions a year. Cause I mean, you can, but that's not us. And I feel like both of us are in this job to not have a cap on what we do and be able to really do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And
what's your favorite thing about real estate?
I think my favorite thing for sure is meeting new people and just the connections that we make. I think I love people. Like, I know a lot of people are really jaded and they're like, I hate people. People are so mean. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, if you're so mean to me, like, I really don't give a shit.
It's like almost like a reward when you're able to like get to the other side with difficult people.
Oh, it's like the best. And you like, talk shit along the way, but
make a game out of it.
But I think and just seeing and knowing that like, this is such a big transaction in a lot of people's lives. And I still struggle with finding the empathy for certain situations. Like when I was really why I got my license is because I bought and sold a bunch of properties myself, 3. And every time I sold, I made a profit, bought something else, made a profit. And I was like, shit, like this is amazing. And my agent was a part-time agent, didn't really know much. And I was like, damn, this is easy. Like I can totally do this.
Yeah.
But I think the best part about real estate is all the connections and knowing that like you're helping them get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said before, we work with our heart. And I think, you're really good at that too. Like we have an ability to connect with people on like a more personal level. And we get to know them. We get to know about their families and everything that,
Yeah. And I think it's important, especially because you have to get, it's a very emotional process. So it's not just all business. So you have to be able to get down to meet people where they're at and guide them forward. So whether, they're ready to transact or they're not for whatever purposes, like it's the long game. I go with
it's honestly like 90, I feel like 90% like emotion and what's their pain, and then 10% transactional.
Right.
Like really, I mean, the majority of stuff that we do and negotiate is all emotional. Really.
It's true.
And
very emotional.
And kind of like digging deeper with our clients to find out what really is important to them as opposed to just listening. We're actually understanding.
Right.
And I think that's what we really like to do. And I think we're both really good at that.
Yeah, I agree.
And even us on like me and Ash just always are on the same page, like
energy wise
with anything. Like even today rolling up to this podcast, like I changed into a sweater cause I was cold. And then she's like, I got to change real quick cause it's so cold out and like
it's freezing.
Yeah. So we just, I feel like we have a good vibe and like getting into real estate. I mean, like what type of person do you think is like an ideal candidate for someone that wants to be a realtor?
Someone that's, committed, someone that's compassionate, someone that is aware, great at multitasking because possibly a little bit psychic. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Great at multitasking because there's at least 10 different steps to one transaction. And then you're juggling like 25 transactions because you have 25 like active clients, like going to the closing table. And a lot of times it's the first time, or they're looking to you to be the coordinator, the liaison between all parties, like the attorneys, the bank, your clients, the sellers, the inspectors, the appraisers. There's a lot that goes into it. So it's really important. You have to be organized. You have to be dedicated. Definitely, I believe in the growth mindset. Like I think that's a very important factor because it's super easy to get frustrated. Like my first year, I ran around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yeah.
And it does take a while to get your groove. And there's guidelines that you have to follow. But at the end of the day, everybody has like their own way of doing things. So I like that freedom. I like the freedom to be able to do that. And so
I think also like both of us coming from like a sales, customer service, hospitality background, like it's so crazy to me. Like I go out to dinner now and like very few places like you get good service, right? It's like nobody has that ability or that work ethic to fully serve their customers.
It's so true.
And I just think like ultimately everyone, and I don't know now like what younger kids do, but like I think everyone should have to work in the service industry at some point in their life. Because
I used to say that all the time. You should be in, it doesn't matter if you're a waiter, busboy, bartender,
dishwasher, like get
do
your
it for
hands
a night
dirty
before you're allowed to like go out there or go out to dinner, because
literally,
yeah, I get spoiled too because I know what I do for my clients and my customers. And then when you go out there, you kind of expect it. And but then again, like, thank God for those people that don't do what we do, because then we can, swoop in and save the day.
Totally.
Just by being our natural selves, and
totally. And I think like being a realtor, like you can definitely like, if you're coachable, like that's amazing. But I think like to a certain point, like standing out from being just like an okay average agent to like a really good agent, I think you really need to just have that like innate like quality within you.
To be able to go with the flow and be receptive.
1000%.
Yeah.
Like
thank God we have such a fierce leader that is constantly, shout out to Lindsay.
Shout out Lindsay.
Constantly like.
And Bruce.
And Bruce. Great. He's the best. They really are. The two of them. They're like the dream team.
Powerhouse.
Really. Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest thing. And a lot of people that start this job get like super discouraged. Like 60% of agents, FYI, just left the business this past year, 2023. So there's a lot of room for opportunity, yet it's still very competitive. Right. And I think you have to have thick skin. You can't get your feelings hurt. Like the amount of times I think on any job that I've been like harassed, yelled at, like called wrong names, like just so many inappropriate things. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm good. Yeah. Like, go fuck yourself and,
brush your shoulders off.
But you can't be sensitive.
Take it personal.
You can't.
No.
Yeah.
No, because
you'll be so sad.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. Maybe suicidal. Yeah. No, it's true.
So I think like, and us, I feel like we've really grabbed our footing with real estate and how we gain our clients is different for everyone. But I think we really kind of have a handle on that. And that's like our goals with this podcast, I guess, are just getting the word out there, getting like just the information. I feel like there's a lot of real estate podcasts that are strictly like business, whatever, but it's all about the mindset too. And I think we both really are passionate about growth mindset, being in the flow state, like just really like, that energy is just magnetic and like energy flows where energy goes is
so true.
And I think
to comprehend that on a deeper level or to dive into that on a deeper level is like, you open up one door and it just keeps on going.
Totally.
So
I think the energy flowing is like, I mean, we've obviously everything leads to something, and whether or not it's meant for you or not, like you were experiencing it in whatever sequence that it was meant to happen. And I think, this life is just about taking chances and not knowing whether or not something's going to work out, but putting your full heart into it and hoping that it turns out great. And you have the ability to make it turn out great or not. Yeah,
definitely. I think like the one thing that real estate has taught me is because when I started, I was such a control freak. And Gary too, like we used to laugh about this because you just, and a lot of times like, you can't get to the next, with everything, you can't get to the next step until you complete like the first process. But there's so many different steps along the way that it literally taught me that I had to like let go. I had to relinquish the control, leave it up to, put my best foot forward, properly plan, do what I needed to do to come to the table. But at the same time, like just let things lie the way that they're supposed to and being in the now moment and
totally.
Preparing for the future, but not dwelling on it, I think is super important for real estate and all areas of life.
Yeah. And I think that we want to do a podcast that's not just real estate, but like real estate has allowed us to do a lot of things in life that we like and that, spend more time, with our families, travel more, do more activities that we like. And I think real estate really allows us to have, and
it's all measurable too, which I think is great. Like, so when you begin, like, and I think that was the biggest eye opener for me too, is like, I'm operating where I'm operating at this level by, the routines and my patterns and my systems and my cycles. I want to grow. So what do I need to do to get there? The answer not necessarily is like, it's not put in more hours. It's not go talk to, it's
totally,
it's diving within yourself.
Totally.
And like taking a look at where you're blocking yourself off or what narrative are you telling yourself, and then exploring the opportunities to grow. And I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if it's just because it like happened at the same time, but real estate and that just it's the growth mindset, I think, going
It is.
hand in hand.
Yeah. And I think just constantly like knowing that like no matter what, like any situation is going to have whatever outcome. So I think like relinquishing control, like you said, is like super important to being successful in this business for sure. And you just, you know, you have to lean into the people that you surround yourself with, especially like, you know, just having good people in your corner and good resources to allow you to succeed.
Yeah.
Is super, super important.
Yeah. So the hard times of real estate, I mean, being a newer agent.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot.
It could have been worse. We're a Zillow office. So they just, you know, you're getting fed clients.
I think it really, the biggest part, and if you're thinking about joining real estate, like obviously message us. We'd be happy to like chat with you. But the biggest part about joining real estate as a new agent is really aligning yourself with the right people. That's
right
like
team. You have to have
one.
a team behind you.
Because at least in New York State, like we work with a lot of parties to transact, and sometimes it could take 90 plus days to get a check, right? So if you are burning the boat, like make sure you have a little bit of money. Or someone that can like be your sugar daddy. Because like for me, like I had a lot of savings.
Someone that could be your sugar daddy. I just caught up on that.
I need a sugar daddy.
You had savings. I had
savings.
Nothing.
And,
no sugar daddy or savings.
But at the same time, like when I started real estate, I also bought a house. Okay. I had like so many of these crazy like bachelorette crazy things I had to do to spend all this money. And I was like, fuck, like my savings is like running out, right? So it was super hard. And I think also knowing that like you don't just have income coming in, like a paycheck, it gives you a different mindset to where you like physically have to fucking grind. And like, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And you didn't have that cushion.
I didn't have that
had
cushion.
to fucking grind too.
10-year-old daughter and rent and car payments.
So talk about like, what were you feeling at that point? Like you just knew you had to make it work.
I had to make it work. I had no other choice. I literally took on every opportunity. And it was scary. I mean, there were a couple times where like, I didn't think I could put groceries on the table, but I was determined I wasn't going to give up. And I leaned really hard into rentals because, you know,
fast money.
Yeah. Rentals were a little bit more faster. You get paid with
quicker turnover.
Yeah. But it was scary, but there was something inside of me that just said like, just keep going, keep going. And I refused to give up.
And I think there were a lot of moments, at least for me, like, like I said, like I have pretty thick skin. I think deep down, like I'm like super sensitive, but don't tell anyone. But I think that you really have to just let shit happen to you, be upset, but like do not let it dictate the rest of your pace. And like we still struggle with that. You know what I mean? Like deals fall apart.
Like people feel that pain, but then don't sit in that pain. Like get beyond it. Figure out what you need to do. Like kind of almost see the lesson in it and let it be your fuel for like taking the next step.
And that's just like, I mean, straight up life advice, like the best ever. Like let that shit happen, feel it, then
because like attracts like. So if you sit in that negativity, then you're going to only attract more negative, and it's going to be like even worse for you.
And there's a lot of agents that, especially when they start, they get really upset, like physically upset because, you know, someone's like, oh, you know, I don't want to move forward, or like they don't know how to handle objections. Like obviously a more experienced agent, because objections aren't objections, they're just excuses. That's the bottom line. But they allow it to get really upset and they're like, this isn't for me. And then they bounce, which, you know, it's not got to roll with everyone. The punches. Yeah. But there's a lot, it's hard to start, you know, you need to lean into your sphere of influence. Ashley's like the best at that. You have like the biggest network of like friends, family. You're crazy so good Italian, at that. Yeah. Crazy Italian family. Yeah. So you've been able to lean into that, but you really have to lean into people you know, and like make sure everyone knows that you're in real estate is like, and I still like suck at telling people that, but
I was like scared to tell people of that. And I think because like I didn't believe in myself. Right? Yeah. And I was a newer agent. I'm still a newer agent, but what I did, which is another thing about Stevens, is because we're part of Zillow and we're, you know, fed those leads. I let like, you know, I started a couple transactions, sharing on social media. My sphere started to see that I do know what I'm doing. And then they started, you know, coming together. But yeah, I need to reach out more. But it's great. I mean, and then you get to like, who wouldn't want to be paid to be involved in like someone that they love's process of buying a house? Like that's amazing. Or whether it's a investment, like investment properties too. I love it. I love being able to work with people. I love being able to explore the different properties. I think each home has a different story.
Totally.
And you can almost like feel it and pick up on it.
Totally.
So it's great. It's definitely great. But it is scary as a newer agent.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
But being with a team, having a network of individuals, I could not imagine having to do this on my own. I would have I don't think it's possible. I would have given up.
I would have like never. I would have, I don't know. I'd probably be like, I don't know what I would do.
This isn't for me.
Yeah. So I think like ultimately like our goal for the podcast is to just gain, you know, other people that are new in the business, thinking about getting in the business, or you just, you know, want to hear what's good in the Hudson Valley, like just
expand our tribe of like-minded individuals. Totally. It doesn't even have to be real estate. Like, you know, we're just going to talk about life in the Hudson Valley and, you know, what it's like to be here.
And I think it's hard for a lot of people, like, and at least like balancing that, like, go. Like we're females. Like we really like are, you know, to work, we really are in our masculine energy. And for a lot of people now in life, like we're changing the way that it was back then. And I love being like super boss bitch, like at work, but like, you know, like knowing when like you really do need to like slow down. It's
a balance. It's definitely a balance to be in the masculine and the feminine. So
we can talk for like literally days about that.
I know.
Days and hours and months. And
because you go into masculine or feminine overdrive, and then next thing you know, like feminine overdrive, you're like really needy. Masculine overdrive, you're like completely cut off and removed. Like, and it's really, and that's all about energy and
I think
finding your center.
We want to like put that out there and let people know that like, obviously, you know, you're capable of doing other things. And if you lean into your flow, your energy and
tap into like,
and you can be a boss bitch and you can also be like,
you gotta
soft and
you gotta pull back and you gotta create that balance. And I think like self-love, you
all
know,
the things
awareness.
we love to talk about.
We should just podcast about that.
Yeah. I love it.
It's true.
So thanks so much for listening, guys. We were so excited to share our story, and we hope to hear, you know, more tips and tricks for real estate. And we hope to have you join us. If you have any questions, feel free to catch us on social. We'd love to start a team of like-minded individuals and just have this really awesome community that we can pour into.
Yeah. Expand our tribe and get together with some like-minded individuals, whether that's real estate, you know, Hudson Valley, New York State, growth mindset, all the top.
All the things.
All above, all things above.
Okay. So you guys can follow us on Instagram at Brie Bartletta.
At Ashley HVNY.
And we hope to catch you on the next one.
Hope you enjoyed it.